Um, at this stop, I usually tell you about the regulations of the food trucks. So that's good for people to know. As far as the state of Florida goes, all food truck people have to get a mobile food truck decal or a license. A mobile food truck license. And it's a once-a-year license. They give you a little decal. And I'll ask you guys, I'll give you a little activity here. Find the decal on this truck after I'm done giving you my talk here. They have to display that decal somewhere on the truck. Most vendors choose to display it right in their front window where you order, but these guys don't. So I'll give you a little activity. Find the decal on the truck. It's about as big as this. They pay for that decal annually. They can renew it annually. The first initial payment is the biggest, and the state will come in and see how big their cart is, what kind of food they're going to serve, and it's based on a lot of different variables. But they use a term called seats, number of seats, and that's an old restaurant term for about an estimate of how many people you can serve during an evening or whatever your hours are. So it's based on number of seats, based on projected food type and what your pricing is going to be. So that initial license can range anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000. But then the annual renewal fee is more economical. It's about $300 or $400. So once they get that decal, they can just renew every year. Now the state of Florida has a division called the Division of Hotel and Restaurants, and that's who's over inspecting and regulating the food carts and the hot dog carts you see out on the street. A hot dog cart is a little different categorized than a food cart. It is a food cart, but it's not self-contained like these guys are. Now, a lot of these carts can be towed. Like you see, this is one that can be towed. There's not many that are on the OBT strip here that are a traditional drive-around food truck. My Peruvian guy right up the street, he's got a big drive-around cart. But most of these are just set up and they leave them here periodically. This one moves every day. He's not here all the time. So the state will come and inspect these carts a minimum of 3 times during the year. Surprise inspections. They'll come with their little temperature gauge. They'll pull it out of their pocket. They'll order some food. They'll stick that gauge in there and see what the temperature is being served at. They also want to see if the food on board is being refrigerated properly and how it's being cooked and served. The Division of Hotel and Restaurant has a regional office downtown Orlando. Once a year, all food trucks that have a mobile license have to go and get an inspection at that office. So they either have to drive or tow their truck down there. That's where the more detailed inspection takes place, where the inspector will come on board the cart, they'll check out their equipment from top to bottom, and then that's part of their renewal process to get their sticker, their decal. So they have on-site locations here at this location, and then they have to take their cart downtown also once a year. The state says you've got to have your mobile decal license, and it's got to be displayed on the cart somewhere. You also have to operate out of what's called a commissary. This is his commissary right here, that big meat market behind us, which he's very lucky. You have to keep the commissary has to have a big refrigerator to keep the meat and frozen things in, and you have to service your truck out of the commissary. You have to dump your trash at the commissary. Remember I told you they couldn't just leave it on the curb. You have to dump your wastewater at the commissary. And you have to take in water from your commissary. So they're getting stuff and leaving stuff constantly at their commissary. Every food cart truck has to have a declared commissary on their license application. The state needs to know where it is so they can go inspect it as well. This guy's lucky because he could just fire up his truck, drive right back in there, dump out his trash, reload his truck, brings it right back out here. Now the state doesn't care what commissary you operate out of. It could be across town, it could be in another city, it could be right here in the same parking lot. There's another cart further down that's in like a little strip center, and he operates parked right in front of a restaurant that's in the strip center, and that's his commissary. When he runs out of something on his truck, he just runs right inside the restaurant, grabs it, comes back out with it. he doesn't have to go anywhere to service his truck. But the state says you can't just operate on your own, moving around. You got to operate out of a base, a commissary somewhere. So that's another part of the regulation I'm glad to tell you guys about.